Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch a Track podcast presented by the Dude Room Show and co-produced by Mr. IVEST. I'm the Dude.
And I am Grim. And today we are going to talk about, I would say without a doubt, my favorite after Beatles album, especially the debut, and that is Paul McCartney's Ram. Hold it up,
actually,
dude.
I was going to say, actually, Grim.
Paul and Linda McCartney.
Paul and Linda McCartney.
It's
but his album McCartney came out before this, so it's
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What a slouch.
I always
What
thought
a
this was.
slob.
I always thought this was first too. And
I did too, because the person who introduced me, got to give a huge shout out to Mr. Jason Yasadam E. Gordimov Gorman, because I remember in college that was without a doubt the person was, and he, you know, I love his way where he's talking. He's like, "You haven't heard Ram Grim?" Like you're, you know, like you just crawled out from under a rock, and
asshole.
I was like, "Dang, dude, I'm sorry. That was just one that like neither my dad or my uncle had in their LP collection." Yeah. Sad, but it just wasn't.
My dad did have this in his collection.
Oh, did he really?
He did. He had McCartney, and then he had this one. And
see, my dad had like Red Rose Speedway, Band on the Run, just some other Paul McCartney, but not this one.
Yeah. Well, I think this might be a good time to give our friends Johnny Radio and Nathaniel a shout out, because they are currently doing their 70 albums.
Of the 70 albums
of the 70s. And it's, you know, you were on the 60s and 60 and 60s. They're doing the 70 and 70s. And this made the list. I think it was a little later on. It was a little higher. Probably in the 50s or 60s, maybe, I think.
Would you put it in your 70s top 10?
It's in my top 15, I believe.
Damn. All right.
Obviously
it's going to be like that.
Obviously it's in your top 10.
I don't know.
How could it not be? You just basically just busted my nuts for that.
I know. I honestly haven't thought about it, but I guess if I'm looking at it, gut reaction says it probably will be. Gut reaction, not writing anything down yet, just a gut reaction.
All right.
So tell us where it would be on yours after you go ahead and.
Boom. Yeah.
So I don't know. I hadn't heard, and I don't think at that time I had
15,
heard
sorry.
Lennon's. 15. Bunch of bullshit. I don't think I had heard Plastic Ono Band either at this point, but it was around the similar time, and I like that one very much. Not quite as much, but that one you like for very different reasons. It's just it's much more like kind of dark in a way, and kind of like the real grittiness of life. And this one's more like him and Linda moved to a farm in the country and we're enjoying just a life together outside of the craziness of the Beatles.
Domestic bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I have to imagine. Think about it, dude. Domestic bliss in that case would be domestic bliss because, like, dude, you don't have to do shit. You don't have to work. Like, you are good, dude. You're a fucking Beatle. Like, you don't have to work.
Like you're going to be okay.
Yeah. You know what? I decided I was just going to sleep until 10 today. Woke up this morning, got myself a beer, like Jim Morrison says, and just kicked it, you know? Like, shot fireworks out of a tube. Like, dude, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's, you know, that is one of the things. And, I mean, dude, here's the thing. Like, if you look at John and Yoko, I mean, they literally protested in bed, so they didn't get out of bed either, you know? Like,
great point. From reasons. Paris to the Amsterdam Hilton.
That was their domestic bliss.
Yeah, talking in our beds for a week.
Yep. Just changed the world. So,
you know, it was stank in that bed. Go on.
Probably did. Oh, yeah. But so, dude, this album, I found it interesting, was recorded in New York. And I looked this up, and his album McCartney was recorded, some of it in Abbey Road, and then I think other parts might have been recorded at other studios in London, but definitely in London. So this is really his like first experience kind of not recording in London, not recording at Abbey Road Studios. George Martin didn't produce this. He didn't produce, He didn't produce McCartney either.
Him and Linda did, didn't they?
Yeah, they produced this one. I don't know if they produced McCartney as well, but.
See, now that's why I guess I felt like it had an amazing sound, like quality wise, incredible. But at the same time,
excellent.
I had this vision of him like in this farm where they lived, and they just had a studio, and we're just like, we'll just knock around some tracks each day and see what comes up, and then they got rammed. But that was not the case.
I mean, you may have gotten that just because the cover is very like them just just kind of.
I like the teeth kind of on the back, the upside down teeth, like that's a real nasty underbite.
It is.
And then I don't know what the
those
numbers.
Are two Beatles fornicating, which some people thought that he was one of the Beatles, and he was getting bleeped. So there is some of that like innuendo and stuff in this album, and a few songs where people were saying, "Oh, he's taking shots," and there are little pokes and jibs and stuff here and there.
But this is these numbers mean? Is this scoring for something?
Probably. Yeah, Paul is dead.
Like bridge?
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I just always been a favorite since I've heard it.
Yes. So a couple of things that were different from McCartney to this album. On McCartney, I guess Paul played every instrument.
Yeah, and
on this one, they actually like held auditions and got people to come in. And recording in New York. I mean, this is just a completely different process for him. Or him, I should also say them, because Linda, this is Paul and Linda McCartney. She gets writing credit on I think 7 of the songs. So she's definitely gets some credit here.
Well, and the gentleman who played drums, I mean, he went on to be in Wings.
Right.
Denny Sewell.
Yep. I'm trying to see what else here. Yeah, so it was recorded at Columbia Studio B, October 1970. And they said basically, Paul, I guess during the recording, usually sang and played guitar and piano, and then they overdubbed his bass at the end. Now,
interesting.
Yeah. Now, do you think like he's playing piano and guitar, they're recording that, and he's singing? Like that's like at the same time? They're not doing those tracks separate?
No, well, he can't play
they're tracked separate.
Piano at the same time.
No.
No, I think I would imagine, for me, I would take the song on whatever instrument I wrote it on. And honestly, at this point, 1970, boy, they didn't really waste a lot of time after it was all wrapped up. I didn't realize, because it came out in what, 72? 71.
Oh, yeah, something.
71. So it just seems like there would have been a little bit of a lapse, but it seems like all these guys were like, the Beatles was such a slow burn as it ended that they were probably just like, all right, I'm gonna start working on something else.
Yeah. Well, and plus, they probably themselves. I mean, we know George. I mean, dude, I think George just kind of was like, yeah, I'm going to come out with a triple album and just kind of give you the middle finger, because basically, I just want everybody to know that, I've had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of strands floating around the old tutor's head.
And I mean, one, they are musicians. They want to keep doing this. I'm sure there was between the three of them, at least George and John and Paul, definitely just the competitive nature of wanting to be, either the first one to come out or the one to come out with the best album and kind of prove that, they're true musicians.
And I feel like as much as he got a real shit deal, in the whole way that the songwriting was split up in the Beatles, George was definitely poised to do so, because he was writing songs the whole time and just had things that he was probably starting to kick around for years.
Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely. I think,
now, dude, there's one thing I want to talk about.
Okay. Just one thing. Okay.
Dude, in 1971, McCartney produced Thrillington, an instrumental interpretation of Ram that was released in 77 under the name Percy Thrills
Thrillington.
I'm kind of irritated that I haven't heard of this until now. There's no mention of it in the album, and I really want to listen to that.
Yeah, I believe they did when the deluxe CD version came out. That was included on the deluxe version, along with, I think, a bunch of songs that were not on this album. Like when they recorded this, like they got to the point where he went to LA and he couldn't. He was just having trouble like choosing what songs to put on the album. Like he was just having trouble doing it. And so they brought in a producer, Jim Guaricio. Maybe that's how you say his name. Mm-hmm. And Paul like didn't really follow his direction or anything. And so this guy left, and then Eric Wanberg, the Norwegian, I believe, is he's also
Eric the Norwegian, right?
Replaced him, and basically he over the next 6 weeks like finished mixing the album, putting stuff together, and then putting a track list and the tracks in order. I mean, it sounds like he was tasked with doing it, and he did it, which I find really strange because, you know, you've seen Paul kind of in Get Back, and he has sort of this reputation, I guess, you know, of being a little bit of a dictator, control freak. Yeah. And so I find it interesting that he was like just, you know, putting it in someone else's hands to kind of.
Even the deluxe edition, they only got 8 extra tracks, which makes sense because didn't you say there were 20 songs total that they kind of had? But it doesn't have this whole extra Thrillington bit.
Well, they said it was 20, but it just says 20 plus. Also, I think some of them made it on, you know, subsequent albums as well. So some of those tracks that were recorded.
It's a separate album.
Okay.
Percy Thrills. Interesting. Oh, I can't wait to listen to this. Oh, that's cool.
I think is it on vinyl? Dude. Let's get on Discogs.
Yep, we'll be checking that out real soon.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's kind of what I got on this album.
Now, I think we would be remiss to not continue without talking about the fact that this album is not incredibly highly rated, which I think is a travesty to not only the world of rock and roll, the human race as a whole.
I think it's appreciated. It's appreciated much more now than when it was released.
Yeah.
You know, I there's a part of me that wonders if people were just also looking to sort of take shots at them. You know, it's like, oh, okay, these guys are broken up now. They're trying to do their own thing. And people certainly didn't hold back. You know, some people basically said, you know, they said that, you know, Paul had benefited so much from, you know, other, like basically John and George and Ringo, like the other members of the Beatles, just saying that, you know, like you know, once you take everyone else out of the equation, it's like, okay, what can you do and what can you do on your own?
Yeah.
You know, and even like, dude, the other members of the Beatles said they didn't really like this album either. Ringo said that he didn't think there was a good tune on it.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Like, just some of the subtleties about it, which we can get into in the tracks, but there's a lot in the production value of it, which I think is as much of a nod to Eric the Norwegian, who is clearly underrated, because if he's the responsible for really doing some of that stuff, dude, man, what a masterpiece. Dude,
this album from a production stage, it just sounds awesome. So good. It sounds so good. And to me, that's the way I always, when I think of Paul and John, I think, and this doesn't hold true all the time, but I think with John's songs, I think of him as his songs are maybe a little deeper sometimes, a little more personally, emotional, and have kind of that. Whereas Paul is more polished, more he is more into the production. He's more into like really cool transitions and moving different, you know, things and sounds in and out.
And like some Lennon, of it isn't for the most part, sad, straight ahead. You know, not to say that there isn't a place for all that kind of stuff too, but you know, like, let's just say it's not incredibly surprising when you listen to Plastic Ono Band. You're like, Okay, so he was undergoing this new technique called scream therapy during the recording of this album. I do get it. Like, as I listen to the end of Cold Turkey and do the it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Cold Turkey's not in a Plastic Ono Band, though.
Excuse me? Is it seriously not?
No, I don't think so.
That's a mistake. Not by you. I just mean like by.
Yeah, I know. Well, I wanted to crucify you before someone who you don't even know crucified you.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yep,
dude.
I don't know what album it's on, but it's not on that one.
Dude, it would have fit perfectly on there. You're right though, because
right.
Yeah. Oh no, you're wrong. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Anyways.
No. All right.
Get into the tracks, yeah?
I think we get into the tracks. Yeah. We're going to start with number 1, side 1, Too Many People.
Now, to me, this is the obvious stab at Lennon, and they write about that too in the article or articles. But I mean, it's pretty obvious about you took your lucky break and threw it away,
broke it in two.
So what can be done with you?
There definitely is that, and I think a lot of people made a big deal out of it. And, later McCartney did say, there were some shots here and there, but I don't, man, like, it's fine. Like, whatever. Yeah. But this song, dude, I love the way it starts just with the acoustic guitar. I know. Like, I just think it's so good.
And the way it's strummed, it's very specific and deliberate the way it's strummed. It's not an open, just, it's really kind of just chopped at a little bit.
It's tight. Yeah. And I just remember when I first heard this and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to like this album. Like I just knew it just from hearing just that first 10 seconds. I was like, yep, this is going to be great. Dude, it's weird because I hadn't listened to this album. Well, it had probably been a while, but I would say like sat down and listened to it like I did today.
Oh, really?
This one
comes up for me pretty regularly.
I mean, sometimes I'll put it on every once in a while, but like sitting down and listening to it, dude, there's a lot going on in this song. There's a lot of really good transitions, dude, good guitar solos. Oh my gosh,
changes up. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's
dude, it turns just into this like cool little jam, and it definitely rocks out at the end.
Yeah,
like, I don't know, man. Part of me is just like. Dude,
and aside from the shots, I really like kind of some of the things that lyrically it's saying, because it kind of points to this undercurrent of stress throughout society.
Yeah.
Where just too many people doing this, like too many hungry people losing weight and, all kinds of these things. It's an interesting sort of picture.
Commentary.
Yeah. So
it is. Track number 2, 3 Legs. My dog, he has 3 legs. Other people thought that this song was also kind of like a shot at the Beatles. I mean, there are some lyrics in it, like when I thought I could call you my friend, just things like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
I didn't think about that at first.
There's some stuff there, but it's an interesting song. It's very different than Too Many People. But when I hear it, I can just like what I picture, Paul like in the country, like sitting on his porch and just kind of playing the guitar and just kind of like just playing the song. Mm-hmm. Like I just do. That's just kind of the imagery I get when I think of it.
Even you don't think about David Spinoza just sitting and playing guitar because he's credited with guitar on this song.
Well, I'm sure Paul played guitar too. I don't know. No, I don't. I don't know. Maybe David Spinoza was his neighbor. I don't know.
You just got to throw it in there. This was one of the ones that I think, and I remember Gorman pointing this one out specifically too, that was very interesting from the production standpoint, because each section is just subtly but yet radically different at the same time in its instrumental composition and everything it's doing. And then of course I think on the third verse they actually just put the guitar going backwards, which I mean That's one of those things that just goes straight to my heart. Like backwards anything, I really like it, and especially when you can fit it in rhythmically the way they do. Like it doesn't lose rhythm or even almost sound awkward. I mean, it's so perfectly placed. So that part's really cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool. That is cool. I'll have to listen to that or listen for that next time.
I would.
Track number 3. Ram On, dude.
Hey, you could pretty much say title track. I mean,
yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
Let's face it.
Dude, it's I know you love the beginning of this song with the sound of the tape. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude. I should have. Well, I guess I couldn't do that because we probably wouldn't be able to, just basically make our livings off this episode. But I can play this. I was taught this on ukulele by our friend as well.
Dude, that, man, again, when I heard the uke come in, I was like, dude,
I know.
This is so good, man.
I know. Yeah, I do. You're right though. The way the song starts, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you got that. The tape goes. There's kind of like that. I don't know, some kind of horn, and then the piano comes in, and yeah, it's and then there's even that studio kind of like studio sound where they're like speaking back and forth. He's like, okay,
I know.
Dude.
It's really really good. And I like the lyrics too.
Definitely.
They're nice. They're positive.
Yes, they are. Dear boy, Grim. Oh boy, dear boy.
Yeah. Dear boy is a departure from what we've heard so far. It's pretty much piano driven.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's all the talk about, and you know more about this than me, but there's all the talk about all these things being sort of estimated or guessed at being shots or whatever at Lennon. When I heard this, I in no way thought that even before ever reading about it. It sounded like she was the one who got away from whoever the song's written toward. You know what I mean? The one that got away.
Yeah, well, and Paul did say, and the one of the biggest lines in it is, I guess you never knew, what you had missed, dear boy.
Yeah.
And it's
doof.
Yeah, there's some doof.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Yeah, some Lee Scratchberry doofs. But this was a dig at Linda's ex-husband, and Paul said that. But one thing Paul also said was that he was glad that he did not tell her ex-husband that this song was about him, because he ended up eventually committing suicide, unfortunately. So I imagine that would have weighed heavy on his conscience if he had done that.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's one of those ones that you think of. Yeah, ooh, that's heavy, as they would say in Back to the Future, and that's Back to the Future 2 and 3. Yeah.
And probably 3. But dude, it definitely starts off darker. The song definitely starts off darker. I really like sort of the doubling of his vocals. They got really good harmonies. And there is there's some Beatlesque sort of use of the vocals and the harmonies and everything. And dude, it just, I mean, you love it.
Yeah. Right? It's how are you going to knock that?
Yeah. It's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We can reiterate later, but my favorite track on the album.
Easily. Yes.
This is, and dude, I remember as a kid.
Uncle Albert Halsey.
Yeah. As a kid, I would hear that song on like the oldies radio, and I'm like, dude, that is clearly Paul McCartney singing. But I just figured it
but
was
you're like, but it's not the Beatles.
Yeah, it's some lost Beatles track or something. And then finally, Ram's introduction, my life kind of came together in this new direction where I understood now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite song on the album. I would say this is my second favorite Paul McCartney song after Band on the Run. I'd say that's my favorite Paul McCartney song.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a real hard to argue with. That's a really good one. Dude, this song is warm in the intro, is everything in its right place, but just in a different way. You know what I'm saying? In a different
way. We're very warm.
Yeah.
Very warm.
Dude.
With Heather Locklear. Well, dude, I thought it was interesting is basically what I read about is, Paul took, he had several sort of shorter, like unfinished songs, and the producer, Eric, Weinberg, basically he's the one who just like put them all together and kind of constructed this song. He's the one who he found some like mono track of thunder and a storm, dude, and put that in the song, and he put 2 tracks of it so that it could be in stereo. And man, like, dude, it fits so perfectly, man. It does, right?
There's something about the use of ambient real life sound in music like that is it's just unreal, man. It's so good.
I love it in this song. I love it when they do it in Riders on the Storm. It's just it's just unbelievable. I love a good thunderstorm anyways. So
I just got back into town.
Yeah. But again, dude, multiple. You can tell it's multiple songs because the transitions are beautiful. Like, they're so really good. They really go well together. So let's close out side 1 with track 6, and that is Smile Away.
Yeah.
Dude, this song is, again, very different than I think anything we've maybe heard on the album so far.
Oh, yeah. It's the most like straight ahead rock song.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It's raw. It's nasty. When the bass comes in, there's a ton of fuzz on it. And one of the things that I really do like about Paul McCartney and the way he sings is he can sing real kind of soft and pretty.
But and then you can really sing get into
like it. And in this song he just kind of belts it out, man, and that's really cool. I just love he has the ability to mix it up like that.
I think this picture on the inside of the gatefold where he's singing and it looks like he's yelling, I think that is recording Smile Away.
You think so?
I do.
Could be Monkberry Moon Delight.
I imagine him playing piano on that, but you could be right.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Makes sense. Well,
before we do that real quick, one thing I like about Smile Away, other than just the grittiness of it, is the way he kind of plays with the, man, I can smell your breath a mile away. And it's weird how it goes.
Away.
Yeah.
Smile away, mile away.
Yeah, it's kind of
good play on words.
Yeah, it is really swell.
All right. Well, let's flip it. Track number 1. Heart of the Country. I look high, I look low.
See, now this, to me, this is one of those ones that you would have imagined that it was just done in their home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just, everything about it, like the whole feel. This one and like Eat at Home, I guess, specifically.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Those 2 songs for sure.
Eat at Home is kind of like a COVID song.
You can see that.
You know what I mean? Like where he's like eat in bed, because you would never pull that shit, but you would then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
World's ending. Yeah. Nothing, it's fine.
But anyways, Heart of the Country, yeah.
I don't care if, I ruin my 800 thread count sheets or whatever. I want a horse. I want a sheep. I want to give me a good night's sleep. It's just kind of a fun little song. And it's one of those ones where he, it was kind of inspired and reflected by just leaving the headaches and everything of the Beatles and just moving
to that farm.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder that farm, Paul McCartney does release a song much later in his career that if you get the best of Paul McCartney is almost always included in that.
The best.
And that's called Junior's Farm. And I wonder if that was the name of that farm and it just came up later. Because he says, "Take me back to Junior's Farm."
Whoa. What about maybe it's? Do you think it'd be Junior Kimbrough?
Maybe.
No, probably not. I know. I'm just making it up.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, next track, Monkberry Moon Delight. Very interesting title.
I know.
And the words of this song are. I like some of the words, and some of them I think are a little silly and strange.
Yeah.
But dude, I love the part where he sings. He sings, "So I stood with a knot in my stomach and I gazed at that terrible sight." Mm-hmm. And again, he sings this from his stomach, man. He's like, this is real deep and raw and like and guttural, right?
I think guttural's a good adjective for it. Yeah,
dude, I love it. I love that word. But yeah, dude, this song probably maybe more than any song right off the bat just hits, right? It just gets right into it. And I really like it. Kind of has this, the way he's playing the piano, and has sort of maybe a little bit of a saloon sort of feel to it.
Sure,
and,
sure. And it just kind of gallops along.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's not the longest one on the record, but it definitely seems like it is to me.
It does. I mean, I imagine Uncle Albert is, right?
No, I think it's actually Long-Haired Lady.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, it is.
My long-haired lady.
Because the end, that end kind of...
Yeah. Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Eat at home. Again, another, we're seeing a theme here, but it is, is this his plea for like a home-cooked meal and that domestic life?
Well, and the whole thing about, eat in bed. Now, I wonder if you could watch TV in bed too then, because that would really make sense.
I don't know, man.
I guess they had TV. I mean, you could set it up.
Dude, I don't know. On the Scottish country, I mean, if you're Paul McCartney, probably.
Oh, that's true. Your channel selection would be seriously limited. You don't have any VCR yet.
Dude, you ain't gonna Netflix and chill.
Yeah, no. You're not gonna stream anything. No, that's out. Okay.
No Game of Thrones, no Ozark, none of that. Yeah.
These splits.
But yeah, this song, it's a pretty straightforward song, has sort of some typical transitions, but it's interesting because you can tell he sounds so happy in it.
Yeah, and very genuine. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's a good way to say it.
So, Long-Haired Lady. Now, I don't love the way this song starts. I don't like the well.
I agree with you.
I don't like the way Linda sings in it. I just don't.
I don't either. It kind of scratches at me the way Regine's voice does in Arcade Fire sometimes. That really high, almost shrill. But I think that she does sort of redeem herself in the later part of it.
Yes, 100%. And that's
totally redeem yourself.
Totally redeems herself. That's actually what I was going to say. Like, once they transition into the other parts of the song, I really like those parts a lot.
Probably her best vocals. They definitely beat her isolated vocal tracks from Hey Jude. But
yes. But yeah, I mean, it is that, well, do you love me, like you ought to do? Or is this the only thing you want me for? It just sounds kind of whiny.
Yeah, it does have a sort of an odd. So I agree with you.
Not a fan of it, but I do like the other sections a lot. Then we go to Ramon Part 2.
Oh, I like this one. Now, this one doesn't have sort of the same bite when it starts.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's basically just just the uke, and it's much shorter too. I forget how much shorter it is, but it is. It's just a little tease, under a minute.
Yeah, but I like that because you bring that theme back, even though it wasn't established in the very beginning, it was early enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Gotta remember that early enough. Yeah. Okay.
Last track on the album, The Backseat of My Car.
Yeah.
So many things can happen in the backseat.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. But Paul said, this was sort of like it was kind of like his teenage song.
Yeah.
And, kind of the stereotypical parent doesn't agree, doesn't like what they're doing, and they're two lovers, and they're just going to go on.
They can make it to Mexico City.
Take you over the world. Yeah, exactly. Really, when it starts, it almost starts like, okay, this is going to be like this big ballad or something.
I know. It almost sounds sad. So I like the fact that it departs from that and it doesn't end on that kind of a note.
Yes,
because it kind of just jams out a little bit in the end.
It definitely does. Like, I'm glad they kind of brought it in that direction.
It's Leslie guitar, might be through Leslie. It's kind of got a nice little grit to it.
Yeah, but I love that. It is cool because the main sort of line that you really hear, and it's repeated, "Oh, I believe that we can't be wrong." It's like that's such a young teenage way of thinking, because you know every damn thing when you're
and it's
17, 18
obviously
years old.
Just the most important thing that's ever happened in the history of humanity. Clearly.
Yeah. All right, Grim, that brings us to the end. So I think we've already established both of our favorite tracks are on.
One thing I do want to say, dude, there's a DVD. There's this big like craziest anniversary gong show of it. Dude, there's a DVD that has this thing called Ramming, which I mean, I love that already. At 11 minutes and 15 seconds, that is the making of the album. Then there's a promo video for Heart of the Country, Three Legs, and then Hey Diddle, which is unreleased, and then a version of Eat at Home live from their tour.
Live at the Acropolis.
I want to see that.
Is this where are you seeing this? Is this
just on the wiki page at the bottom?
Oh, okay.
Because it just talks about the versions, and I would have never known
DVD
about that.
Ramming making the album. Hey Diddle.
Ramming speed.
Just jamming that thought home.
Yeah.
Now that I'm head of the ballet. All right, interesting. Well, yeah, if any of you have seen that, have that, please let us
ahead.
Let us know if it's something we should pick up, because
like, subscribe, and comment below.
Yeah, I think it would be really neat.
Okay, now it's time to scratch, folks.
Oh, dude,
you're gonna go first.
If I must,
I'll go first. Okay, you're gonna take out your ram horn and just scratch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what you gonna scratch? It's not a trick question.
I feel like this was one of the early albums in which we played this game. I feel like when we came up with this concept, there were some very early ones where you're like, what are you gonna do for this one? And I remember at the time saying, it's not that I don't like it, but the one that just drags the most, which I sort of alluded to, and I said it's not the longest, but it feels like the longest. Throw it out if you want. Monkberry Moon Delight.
Moon Delight. Interesting. Yeah. There's no way I could scratch that one because it's probably the song in this album that has like the most energy to me.
I can see that. I can see that.
Consistent.
Yep.
I've always really, really liked the song. There's some other songs that I think, like that, long-haired lady, there's parts where I'm like, I don't love parts of it. Even the backseat of my car, like I don't love parts of it.
That was debatable to me. But I don't know if you could just end it with the Ram On reprise.
Well,
reprise.
I don't know. I don't know. I actually think you could. I actually think you could do that. If you were going to do that, though, I would actually almost say, do you start the album with Ram On?
Well, yeah. See, now we got a whole different animal.
If you're going to do that,
I agree with you, but I just think that I think you're right about opening with too many people. It grabs your attention.
It does. There's a lot. Yeah. But I would actually say, so the track that I would actually scratch is Smile Away.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not throwing it out there, but wow. Okay.
It just, I don't know. It doesn't.
I think that one's got more energy than Monkberry Moon Delight. So.
Yeah. It does have energy. Different energy.
I was just saying it to spite you.
But I think the thing with that is I like Monkberry Moon Delight, and Smile Away, they both have some, I mean, it does have a lot of like raw nastiness to it. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing though, I could easily finish side one with Uncle Albert.
Oh, for sure. That's not even a question. Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I got you.
So, that's where I'm at. So, all right, folks, let us know what you guys think below.
Yeah.
Are we crazy for scratching these tracks? Because, we don't have a choice. That's how you play the game. But what track on this album would you guys scratch? There's some great ones on here. Probably some of Paul McCartney's best work. We've always had a tough time kind of going back and forth and discussing what we would scratch. So.
Okay, sidebar. Sustained. So, where would you rank this in toughest albums to scratch? Is it top 10 in that?
Yeah.
I love this, dude. We needed to somehow categorize the show idea into its own list. This was the culmination of everything we've worked to.
Dude, it's like Inception. It's like a dream within a dream.
I know.
Like a scratch within a scratch.
Yeah. All right. So if you had to miss one part of Smile Away,
what part of this song would you scratch? Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does about wrap it up, though.
Yeah.
Would you say there, Mr. Grimm? All right. Everyone, thank you for listening. Please give us a like, subscribe, and let us know below what track you guys would scratch. Because that's the name of the game here on Scratch Track Podcast.
By the Dude Grimm Show, co-produced by Mr. Obvious.
Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grimm. Additional music provided by More. That's ... MORE and the Tims TIMNZ. Copyright 2020. The Dude and Grimm Show.